Now, my next guest is no stranger to the show or to you guys. He's had a very long and varied career, dancer, yes, theatre actor, film and TV actor, a voice artist that has spanned decades, but probably most famous for playing Gambling in Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy. He also has a very strong charitable side, raising money for grandparents raising grandchildren. Now, Bruce turned 70 this week. And he's not doing something that most 70-year-olds would do. I just have to go back a little bit before we say good afternoon to Bruce. If we go back to 2022, for his 67th, he did 67 backflips off a local wharf in Herne Bay in Auckland. Yes, you heard right. January 2024, he did 68 somersaults off a 6-metre cliff diving platform in Wynyard Quarter. Again, 68th birthday. 69th, he did 69 backflips. So I wonder what he's going to do for his 70th. Just chill out. Bruce, you're not just going to chill out, are you, babe?
Rinse and repeat.
Rinse and repeat, you lemon legend. How are you?
I am well, thank you, Leah. Thank you very much for talking.
No, I'd love to talk to you about this because I look, Bruce, I think it's just phenomenal what you are doing and have continued to do. Did I get my years? Did you do two jumps in 1 year? No.
Yeah, well, I delayed it. Like my birthday's in November. But
yeah, you've just had it.
I had a fantastic opportunity to jump off the Red Bull World Cliff Diving Tower.
Yes.
They held one of their events here back in 2023, and so that got delayed because of Pooh Harbour. If you remember,
Pooh
the big
yes,
when the raw sewage was pouring into Auckland, Waitemata Harbour. So they put the event back to the start of the following year. So that's when I thought, okay, well I'll delay my my somersault event until I can do it on because it was just such a wonderful opportunity to do it off that 6-metre platform.
Yeah,
I was scared. I was just about to put raw sewage into the harbour myself. I was scared, crap. But it was just honestly, Leah, going off that higher level because I've gone off 6 metres before was just such. It was exhilarating. It was once I got the first one out of the way, and it just felt so wonderful to fly through the air.
Did it make it easier, Bruce? Is it actually easier to do when you're higher?
It sort of does, you know. Like you do risk over flipping, and which way you're going to sting yourself if you hit the water without being vertical. But it sort of did because you're not having to, like when I do it off lower platforms, like the local wharf that I do, I still do it off pretty much every day on the local wharf when I do my daily swims. I swim to that local wharf and I climb up and I just do it off the rails on the wharf. And you kind of have to get the spin in quick because otherwise you do smack the water. You know? Yes.
Can we, before we jump into this, your next one, if we go back a little bit further, I think it was 2018, the first thing that you did to raise money for grandparents raising grandchildren had nothing to do with water, actually, Bruce, wasn't it? You walked, what is it, the entire Te Araroa Trail?
Yeah, so 3,000 kilometre Te Araroa Trail. I was doing it for my own purposes initially, and then I thought, wait on, this is just selfish. I'm just indulging myself here. And so I thought, okay, I need to try and use this opportunity to create some profile or raise awareness and maybe some funds for an organisation. And I discovered grandparents raising grandchildren. And that stage I had 3 grandkids. I've got 4 now. And that it really struck my heart, you know, like these grandparents who choose to step in. Inevitably what they're faced with is they have grandchildren and they're being told, you know, they're facing the reality that something's happening in that grandchild's family life. So it's their child, the grandparent's child, and their partner who either have a significant drug addiction. Nowadays it's like 90% meth.
Yeah. Gosh.
Just what your article in the news, about busting that the gang operating with the handlers at the airport and all of that. I finished reading Jared Savage's book called Underworld.
Oh.
It's my goodness, it's mind blowing. When you start realizing, we're dealing with Mexican cartels now, not just Chinese gangs or
it's
local
heavy stuff.
Yeah. So that's what's happening. With the impact. If there is someone out there who's listening who's into meth or who's dealing in meth or whatever, please, man, because you're ripping these families apart, and these grandparents. One of the residues is the grandchildren, but also these grandparents. They lose their role as a grandparent. They have to become, and many of them don't have any money. They don't have lots of money.
No,
they're still working.
What's the and what is there financial support for them, Bruce?
There are avenues they can go to, in particular for things like it's a child care scenario. Like they get guardianship. They have to apply for guardianship. So invariably, their child or the partner, they will resist the grandparent guardianship because they don't want to say, yes, you can have my child, because they'll invariably be getting some sort of assistance as well for that. So yes, they can apply to government departments for various things, helping with education and stuff like that, getting a kid to a school camp, the school camps at the start of the year and things, and some of them, they can't afford that, so they'll apply for some assistance. And there are still people, unfortunately, within some of the government departments who turn them down, not understanding that they qualified because they think because you're a family member and you haven't gone through the right channels or something. So it was 2 years ago, I think, grandparents raising grandchildren have hardly any resources. And their biggest role is advocacy. So they have a whole bunch of people who are members who join their organization, GRGNZ. And 2 years ago, I think it was, that grandparents raising grandchildren managed to release $1 million in government agency funding to some of the people on their database who had been turned down for that funding.
Oh my gosh.
Some of them don't have the courage to appeal.
Yeah.
So they'll, but now when they're part of the grandparents, raising grandchildren, they can contact grandparents raising grandchildren and say, look, can you help me? I tried to get some money to assist with the school fees, or I tried to get some money to be able to send my grandchild to the school camp or do a holiday activity or whatever. And so, as I say, they managed to release an extra $1 million in funding for their grandparents on their books through their agency in 1 year.
And it's, that's so, I have a friend who, she went through the same thing. Thankfully her daughter has now been clean for quite a few years. But, going back, she had a meth problem. She couldn't look after her children. And my friend, obviously, of course she was going to take her grandkids. And she was in this exact same scenario and world that you're talking about. She was working, she'd already brought up her kids, and now she was a great grandmum, but now she's got them living in her house, still working, but having to do the school run and find extra funds for the kids and still try and maintain a relationship with her daughter, and letting the kids see their mum and partner. It was a really rough time for a long time, and it was. I mean, she was phenomenal at how she coped because she had good people around her. But you got to take your hats off to them, Bruce, because
it's incredible.
She'd done. I don't want to say she'd done her time, but she'd brought up her kids, and her daughter had just met the wrong person, and as life does, she's now got her kids back. It's great. It's a good ending story, and doesn't always end that well. But I know exactly what you're talking about because she had to maintain quite a lot.
Yeah, and I literally it's so cool. one of my sisters, Lindley, she's lived in Australia. She's got 10 grandkids, 2 great grandkids.
Oh.
Her and Mike, my brother-in-law, they, my sister's been living in Aussie forever, since she was 18. She's a couple of years older than me. They flew over. They decided they want to come and be down at the viaduct at the Karanga Plaza pool.
Awesome.
And watch tomorrow to support me.
Yeah.
And so they flew over from Oz, and I just took them out to my daughter, Francesca's. And I just got to play with my granddaughter, Claudia, my coming up to 3-year-old granddaughter there, and we had such a neat little hangout with them there. So that sort of relationship is gone.
Yeah.
Because you're not the grandparent coming and having a little play and stuff. You're now the disciplinarian. You're now the grumpy, person getting up in the morning going, come on, get your clothes on. We've got to get to school. Get put your seatbelt on. No, please stop doing that.
Yeah.
Do your homework. You ask any grandparent who has grandchildren for a sleepover more than 2 nights in a row. That's. Then you start going, I used to be offended when people would say to me, oh, yeah, it's good, because you can hand them back. I'd say, oh, no, I want them more. And then I started having the sleepovers when the older ones were young. And it was like, oh, bloody hell.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Hey, Bruce, let's get back to what you're doing now. This is tomorrow. This is your biggest leap yet. You're aiming for 70 backwards somersaults off the purpose-built platform at the Karanga Plaza. It's got another name, eh? What's it called as well?
Yeah, it's Wayne Brown. This is one of the initiatives Wayne Brown put in place, which is so cool.
Yeah.
Auckland has been screaming out. Sydney has a harbour pool. Instead, most harbour cities have a pool in the harbour somewhere, a public pool. So this is known as Brownie's Pool.
Okay. Cool. So it's a proper pool.
And it's where the super yachts and everything, more up down in the viaduct. There,
okay.
That bridge. That bridge, right beside the bridge.
And and look, you've done this isn't your first rodeo. How long? When is it? Firstly, when does it start? And how long do you think it'll take you to do 70 backflips?
I'm anticipating. So I start at midday.
Yep.
I'm
tomorrow.
Looking to do my first one as close to midday as I can, because there's a little bit of stuff that I need to make sure we're underway. I'm so grateful this year. Grandparents raising grandchildren haven't been able to really support me this year. They've just got so little resource with admin time or anything. So trying to create a bit of publicity and things. So a friend of mine at the council who's involved with the placemaking, kind of what's called placemaking at the council, which is about, what you're talking about, Eden Park and stuff earlier on. This is about creating events around the city that engage the public. She's been amazing, and she's come on board, and she said, look, we can tie this in with the whole thing of water safety, which is amazing.
Excellent.
Now.
Yes.
So Drowning Prevention Auckland are going to have a presence down there with me, and they're going to be separate to what I'm doing, but they're going to be having a little interactive activity for people to take part in, and then there'll be free ice blocks for anyone who takes part in that.
Awesome.
Get a free ice block and everything. So that'll be being run by Drowning Prevention Auckland, which is really fantastic. So it'll be down at that Karanga Plaza is where the event centre is, and the viaduct there we'll be just driving.
Yep.
I'll kick off at midday, and based on previous efforts, I'm anticipating it'll take me 2.5 hours. So I do the flip, I land in the water, and then I have to swim about 20 metres to get to climb out. So I'm going to be swimming, close to a 1.5 kilometres through the process, and then I have to walk back up a ramp and then
jump off
get to
again.
the ledge and do another one. Rinse and repeat.
Rinse and repeat. Bruce, when from your previous jumps over the years, at what stage did you really start? Was there a moment in it you're like, "Oh, I'm feeling this now"? Jeez.
Yeah, I think it's around the 30, 40 mark. You sort of go, oh man, I try not to. Usually, I have my oldest son Tom. He would be there. He's not able to be there. He's a firefighter, in fact, and he's going to be working Saturday.
Oh.
So he's not able to be with me this year, but I'll hopefully have someone else who's going to be there marking off how many jumps I've done. I don't count. I just get into
just do it, a rhythm.
Like, it's cool. Various friends come down and say hi, and so they'll yell out to me and I'll yell back and stuff, but I try not to interrupt my groove.
Oh, good.
I did have a mate who's a physiotherapist. When I was doing the Red Bull one, he came down and he said, "Come over." And so I went over and I turned. He said, "Turn around," and he gave my shoulders. He gave my shoulders a really nice rub for a couple of minutes. Oh, thank you. So yeah, probably kind of around the 40 mark or so, I suppose. And it does. I was kind of surprised, really, and that's why this year I'm sort of. I think it's partly to do just the number 70. I'm kind of going, oh man, I can do this, like. So yeah, it's a challenge, and I'm absolutely knackered at the end of it. Last year one of my kids said to me, "Dad, go home and just have have an ice bath." Oh yeah. So I did. I came home and I bought a bag of ice, and I've got an old bath in the little flat that I rent, and I put the bag of ice in and ran the cold water and lay in that.
Jeez.
Oh.
You just spent all that time in the water and you're back in it again. Because I suppose you don't think how, the toll on your body would be incredible. And for a man of your age, Bruce, and I mean, it's a compliment, you're 70 now. I mean, not many 70-year-olds could, do what you're doing. So, I mean, you know what, Leah, though?
I saw a thing on the news, on the sports news, probably a couple of weeks ago now, and it was Masters hockey.
Oh.
And it was all of these kind of 70 plus, some of them were in their 60s, young fellas in their 60s. But they were like 70-year-olds, and they're playing hockey, and they're hoping to qualify for a rep team to get to the World Masters or something. And it was like, I looked at them and I went, oh, do not even begin to think, because there's no way I'm not a runner. If I try to run, I go for walks. I walk the length of the country and things, but running just smashes my body.
Yes. Yes.
I see some buggers out there now, and they're having a jog and stuff, and so there's all sorts of 70 plus year olds, 80 year olds
getting out there, being active, just doing it differently. You like to backflip off wolves. That's your thing.
Yeah. And I still like a bottle of red wine, and I still like the other stuff.
Yeah.
But,
the other stuff.
But it's a matter of keeping doing it. Like I have to force myself to do my ocean swims, especially in the winter. The last thing I'm doing when I'm walking down there barefoot with I don't wear a wetsuit or anything, and it's the last thing I want to be doing. But every time I get in the ocean in the middle of winter, and once I'm in the ocean and stay in it and swim in it, you got to give it time. It's like your body adjusts, and after a few minutes, honestly, I cannot recommend enough. I was inspired by my mum. She started ocean swimming when she was 65.
Oh.
And she did it till she was in her mid-80s, and up in Hohora. She's not a swimmer, but
she started.
Down,
There's hope for me yet.
Go down on the high tide in Hohora Harbour, walk down and then over the years, this posse of elderly women started joining her, and they'd go down and they'd just be in the cold winter water and just do a bit of breaststroke there for about 10 minutes or so, and then
be great for them.
Just amazing.
Bruce, when do you see yourself stopping this? Are we gonna be talking again on your 80th?
I don't know. I seriously, I'm already starting to think, oh, maybe this is it. I don't know.
Don't know.
But I'll see. We'll see. How I feel after tomorrow.
70.
Yeah. I don't know. I think partly I'm putting a little bit of a psychological block in front of myself, I think. So that's part of it, like I say, when I'm doing it, I just get myself into a groove and
into your zone. Yeah. And you do it. And you do it, Bruce. So I'm gonna call it. I reckon we'll be talking again in a year's time. Because you're phenomenal. How do we keep going?
Oh, sorry, yes. No, you go.
I was gonna say, how can we if people can't come down to at least cheer you on, and you are raising money for grandparents raising grandchildren, what is how do we, because you've raised tens of thousands of dollars over the years, how do we keep this going?
Through their website is the best way, it turns out. So they have a website, Grandparents Raising Grandchildren NZ, and within that, when you go into the home web page and look at the menu, there'll be if you open up the menu, there'll be a donate page.
Right.
Click through to that, and you can make a donation to them there. I would love to call out, like, any baby boomers out there who are retired and who are financially secure. So they own a home, freehold, they get the pension, they've got they don't actually need the pension. There's over 100,000 people. I did a little bit of research. There's probably close to a couple of 100,000 people in New Zealand now in this demographic. They don't actually need the pension anymore. They're financially secure. Could you please donate $70, $1 for each jump, for each somersault of your next pension installment, which comes every 2 weeks? It's $700-800, $70 to grandparents raising grandchildren. Oh, it would just be so cool, and that would help so many grandparents and their grandchildren throughout this country. That's beautiful country.
That's not a lot to ask. How many? You've done some research. How many did you say? You reckon over a couple of hundred?
It's well over 100,000.
Yeah.
I would estimate that. I did that was a couple of years ago. I tried to look on and see how many retirees in New Zealand own homes. Like mortgage free. And as I say, I'm not one of them. I missed the last couple of housing booms, and I have owned a couple of houses over the years. But if you're out of that market and you don't understand that you've got to stay in the market, you can't sell and not have a house for a while. Yeah. Unless you know it's a downturn in the market.
Yes.
So I'm not that sort of person. I'm not really a business minded person. So I missed it. So I'm now still a renter.
But
I'm still having to work to pay the bills.
Yeah.
I love doing this. This is what keeps me sane.
Keeps you going.
Kind of
Speaking of what keeps you going, Bruce, how was it? Like as I said in the intro, and this, you're most famous for playing gambling, Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy. Is there? Have you been doing any acting, anything that we've seen or know? Have you got anything coming up?
If there are any producers and directors out there on an old day, I'm here. I love it. I'm still addicted to acting.
Yes.
But after Lord of the Rings came out, I made a decision. I went to LA to the Oscar parties for the two. I was in two of the movies, and I would get myself over to LA, get along to some of the Oscar parties and things, and it was really cool. But my kids were just coming into their teen years, so I didn't want to live away from my kids.
Yeah.
And B, I didn't really enjoy LA. I didn't want to live in LA. So I came back here, and basically, after being involved in the world's greatest movies back then, since then, I think my longest acting role has been on one episode of Brokenwood Mysteries, and I did 4 days. 4 days filming. So that's it was like my acting career almost kind of ended after Lord of the Rings. It was quite bizarre. So I don't know whether people thought that I was going to cost too much, or not that my agent would be very open to any roles being offered to me. I still do. I still do roles for almost for no money. Like I had 2 little roles 2 weeks ago. It was really that's my busiest week for years. I had 2 one-day roles.
We're missing out on you. What's going on? You need to get back in the movie. Are you part of the part of the when they what are they called? They're like events over the weekend, and they get famous people from famous movies to go, and you pay them and take photos. Have you been part of those?
Out of the blue, Leah, I hadn't done any fan conventions. I hadn't done any
conventions
for over 10 years. And out of the blue, about 5 months ago, I got a email inviting me to London to one called for the love of fantasy. And what was so cool was it was the biggest gathering of the core cast that had ever been assembled. So it was Ian McKellen, Andy Serkis, Elijah Wood, Billy, Dominic, who were they? There were 8 of us.
Oh my gosh!
So me and those guys, and Craig Parker, who lives in LA now, and Kiwi. So Craig and I were the only Kiwi actors, but it was all the main cast and us two, and it was just such a buzz. It was and there were thousands of people there.
That's brilliant.
It was just unbelievable. It was so cool. And then this is the classic thing in a way. I came back and I knew Armageddon was happening, the local one.
Yes.
So I contacted, I've been in touch with them in past. I did one of their shows way back in the early 2000s. And I sent them a message and said, hey, look, just to let you know, I just had this amazing, privilege of being at this event with Ian McKellen and Andy and Elijah, who were coming out to Armageddon. And people would come up to me at the fan convention to get my autograph and say, the only reason I'm here to this one, because some of them go to fan conventions regularly.
Yep.
The only reason they came to this one is because it was Ian McKellen's first ever one.
Oh.
So they've never had a chance to get his signature. And they hadn't seen me at one. So they said, you and Ian McKellen are the two reasons I'm at this thing, And so I contacted the local one, Armageddon, and said, hey, look, I'd love to come along, especially because Andy and Ian and Elijah are there, and we've just been together in London. And no, we don't need you.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh, cheers.
That is typical New Zealand. Oh, my gosh, that's shocking, Bruce.
Yeah. And I think people think it's which I can understand. They think it's me with an ego thing, They think I'm doing. But honestly, when I first started going to Lord of the Rings fan conventions, what I buzzed on was seeing the passion of the people who go to these things.
Yeah.
That I just loved spending a weekend in an environment where there's all these people, and some of them are slightly borderline. Slightly borderline.
That's very kind of you to say it that way. Yes. Yeah.
Very, very few.
Passionate.
There are some who, they're just so obsessed.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's wonderful because you're spending time with people who are passionate about something in their life.
Yeah. Yes.
And it keeps them going.
Oh.
Now, Leah.
Yes.
Before I better slip in because I'm raving too much.
That's right, love.
But before I run out of time, your valuable time, I just thought I would let you know, and your listeners, those who know, I had a comedy duo over the years called the Golden Holdens, and then we became known as Des and Les.
Des and Les.
We were hosts on 89X, Radio Live, News Talk ZB, and Radio Live. We used to do the overnight shows.
Yeah.
I just want to let if anyone who's listening here to the platform know, Des died yesterday.
Oh, Bruce.
And he was the same age as me, and
that's. Oh.
So I just thought I'd let people know.
Oh, Bruce. Oh, thank you for.
Because he had a lot of fans.
Oh, dear me. Oh, look, I'm so sorry for your loss and Des's family.
Yeah, it's very sad. He'd been suffering for a little while. He had a type of cancer and thought he was getting through it. And then a couple of complications set in, and sort of out of the blue, he shot off to hospital, and he didn't come out.
Oh, Bruce, I remember your guys' show. I remember the show.
Right.
Look, again,
to see you at some of the events and things.
Yeah. Bruce, again.
I've always been a big fan of yours, Leah.
Oh, stop it. Look,
stop.
Stop it. Look, thank you for sharing that, because there will be people that were fans of his who did not know and now know. Bruce, I know who you'll be also doing your backflips for tomorrow, won't you?
Yep, I'll send one out for him.
Yeah. Yeah. Bruce Hopkins, I just adore talking to you, and you're a top bloke. My texter said, Leah, he's amazing. I struggled to touch my toes, from Craig. Well, Craig, he can't touch his either. He just throws them over his head.
There's a few 70-year-olds who can't see their toes. There's a few 40-year-olds who can't see their toes.
Exactly. Bruce, I will give out the details again for how we can donate to grandparents raising grandchildren. And I'll give out the details again of where you're going to be tomorrow. I wish you all the best. And I know you're going to do it, but boy, I'm sure you'll feel it Sunday or Saturday night, but you'll go great guns. Well done, my friend.
Thank you, Leah. Thank you so much.
Good on you, babe. All right, that is the one, the only Bruce Hopkins. What a man. So this is happening tomorrow, people, at the Karanga Plaza Harbour Pool in Auckland. From midday, Bruce wants to do his first jump, and he reckons he should get it out by 2:30, 3 o'clock. 70 backflips. Not only does he, once he lands in the water, he's got, what did he said he had to swim a couple of 100 metres? Climb out, walk up the ramp, do it again. I mean, it is going to be a long, hard day, but it's for a great cause. Grandparents raising grandkids. If you can donate anything, team, it would be lovely. It's dub, of course, you all know that's at the front. An easier one is grg.org.nz. So that's grandparents raising grandchildren. So www.grg.org.nz. You know, he's done it for these guys every year, whereas thousands of dollars. Let's help him out. All right.